So today I'm going to talk about, just had to make sure this microphone was on, trying something new here. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about, just had to make sure this microphone was on, trying something new here. Today I'm going to talk about my experience with NetGalley. So far this month, I just signed up for them and I've read 3 books now from NetGalley. So I wanted to talk about them in this video. The first book that I read for NetGalley was Vow of Eternal Night. It's a vampire story about a woman who grows up in a Central European town sometime in the late 1800s, because they're traveling around in covered wagons and they don't really have electricity. I found this book interesting because, one, there's an element of magic that's pretty interesting. There's a castle that has an enchantment that protects the owner of the castle, who was this Prince of Rosenborg. In the beginning of the story, he's an absentee prince. He hasn't been seen for many, many years. Like, no one's really seen anyone from the family for roughly 300 years or so. You find out later that he's a vampire, and that's why no one really sees him. The main protagonist of the story, she is the daughter of the mayor in town. And the mayor is not a great guy, and he basically sends his daughter off to live with the Prince of Rosenborg, which is the vampire, so that he can continue doing whatever it is he's doing in the book, right? The Prince of Rosenborg agrees to let her go, the main character go, if she can break the curse. And his curse is obviously he's a vampire and he doesn't want to be a vampire. So the story is a really good mix of likable and unlikable characters. The pacing is fairly fast, so it's a fun read. The chapters are small. You can get through them. They're interesting. The writing style is entertaining. And I mentioned this before, but I kind of like that the story takes place in this nebulous 1800s era-ish. And so I find that interesting. And the fact that you're familiar with sort of what Central Europe is sort of like, there's not a whole lot of time devoted to world building, which can be interesting. But in this case, it worked really well. To be able to tell the actual vampire story and their adventure that they go on. So overall, I gave this book 5 stars because it was interesting, it was easy to read, it was fairly fast-paced, and there was an element of magic that I really, really enjoyed. So that was my first experience with NetGalley, and I really liked it. The next book that I read for NetGalley, I drew a blank. Oh yeah, it was an audiobook called Bake It Till You Make It. One, who doesn't love a punny title? This one, the audiobook was fantastic. I want to say it was, I should have verified this, but I want to say it was like 11 hours, but the 2 main voice actors for this were phenomenal together. The female character is very chaotic and excitable and friendly and chirpy, and the male character is the polar opposite. He's a little bit dark and broody. He's got this super sexy voice that's really, really fun. And the way that they interplay the actors based on the chapters and all of that. It's really well done. And again, that male actor's voice, it is so dreamy. That's all I can say. It's dreamy. It's great. The story itself takes place on a baking competition. It's based on the Great Baking Challenge of Britain or whatever it is. Anyway, so it's a reality TV show, and the male character is, he's the son of a rich family called the Harrington Group, based out of Canada. And so he's down in LA filming this for PR reasons for his family. And so it's them going back and forth. This is definitely a classical romance story. It's not an enemies to lovers or anything like that. It's a straight, perfect summer read romance story. The one thing I will say is that the storyline regarding the reality TV show isn't overly believable because he, as the main character, keeps helping her as the female protagonist in the story. He keeps helping her to make sure that she continues on with this reality TV show competition so that she's not eliminated. And that part isn't very believable because in real life, even if you don't want to be on the show, most people still want to win, and you're not going to help your competition necessarily in order to keep them there. So that part wasn't, but overall, I gave this a 4-star. It was a very easy read. Again, I listened to it, so it was very easy listening. The characters' voices are phenomenal. And it's not a complicated story. It's just fun. It's lighthearted. The title is punny. There's a few jokes throughout the way. So overall, I really enjoyed that book. And then the third book that I've read for NetGalley is called Cozy Hobbies, Joyful Activities for Play and Leisure by Kennedy Rose. And this is 240 pages, and it's a book for a brief introduction on various hobbies. And she labels them as active hobbies, passive hobbies, brain active, and like brain off hobbies. And she goes through and describes what each of those means. And then she gives a brief description of the various hobbies. This book, it is really beautifully laid out. It has stunning photos. It's got, it has some interesting typeface that's thrown in along with some of the hobby pages and little tips and tricks and blurbs and stuff. So it's really pretty and it looks nice. If you're looking for an in-depth on exactly how to do a hobby, that's not what this book is. This is the type of book that you can lay out on your coffee table and just enjoy. You just pick it up, you open it to a section, maybe try out a new hobby, or, you just leave it and look at the photos. Like I said, the photos are stunning. They're really, really nicely done. I gave it a 5-star, not because of the writing style per se, but just the fact that she goes through a ton of hobbies, everything from embroidery to photography to hiking to camping, like a ton of different hobbies. And it's really fun and interesting. And like I said, it would make a really great gift as a coffee table book, because it is very beautifully laid out. So that has been my experience with NetGalley. I hope to continue to do NetGalley reviews. I enjoy the reading. One thing I will say is when you're reading for NetGalley, they ask that you provide feedback for every book that you read. unless, of course, the book is, unless you really don't like the book. For whatever reason, if you don't click with the book, maybe don't provide a review. So try to be fair. And the other thing is these books are given for free. I wasn't paid to read them, but I was given them to read for free. So that's one thing to consider, or two things to consider. And then finally, if you want to do NetGalley for yourself, know that you need to provide the reviews timely. They send you an email every week to remind you to fill out your review. So that's it. If you like this content, please like the video. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed this content or if there's anything else you'd like to see. Thank you. Bye. Nice. Now I can't get to my... Ugh. Go away so I can have my mouse. There we go.